going to do our recap quiz, and we will pick up what are the different karmas we are subjected to. So I'll talk about that, and then we have a beautiful presentation coming up as well. Sorry. Okay, I hope you're able to see my screen.
Yes.
Okay, great. So let's get started by invoking the blessings of God and Guru. Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwaraha, Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kamsa Chanuramardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. All right, Radhe Radhe, good morning, good evening to all of you. A very warm welcome again to today's edition of Daily Wisdom from Bhagavad Gita. Yes, sick. What am I doing? All right. So let's get started. Today we are going to talk about, what are we going to talk about? Yeah, we are going to do a quick recap of the key concepts that we have discussed in the previous sessions through a engaging poll-based quiz we are going to do. And then we are going to, have you ever wondered what are the different karmas applicable to human beings? We're going to talk about this concept as well. And then we have a beautiful presentation coming up on a topic that I would like to keep secret. So let's get started. Rahul, you may want to put the poll on the screen while I can engage with everybody, in a banter while we go through the quiz questions. So I wanted to wish everybody a very happy Akshaya Tritiya, because that's what I think it's 22nd, and it's already there in India. So happy Akshaya Tritiya. I think this is a very auspicious occasion with a lot of religious significance. And it's a good occasion to multiply something. So things that are worth multiplying is, of course, the spiritual wealth that we are acquiring. So it's good that we are having session on Akshaya Tritiya as well, and it's not falling over a Sunday or a Saturday. So it gets multiplied. Whatever we bring today, it gets multiplied. And then there's a lot of other significance as well. So if you are, especially, it's a very good occasion for us to, people buy gold and property and stuff like that. But I would say if it's a good occasion to indulge in charity as well, to future ourselves and to earn a lot of parmarth, it gets multiplied. But I'll tell you a few facts about Akshaya Tritiya. What is its religious significance? One is it is the birthday of Lord Parshuram. It is said that he was born on this day, who is one of the considered to be one of the 10 Dashavatars of Lord Vishnu. So that is one of the facts associated with Akshaya Tritiya. The second one is that it is considered to be its Tritiya, right? Starting of Treta Yuga, after Satyug. So the Lord Ram, he came in Treta, so it is believed that it started on Akshaya Tritiya only. So that is the second significance of this. And this is also a day when Sudama offered, all those rice puffs to Lord Krishna, who in turn blessed him with, the bountiful of happiness and bliss, as we know that story goes. Sudama, just for a few puffs of rice, Krishna said, all right, I'll give you this also. And then I think he was willing to give him his Vaikuntha or something like that as well. And then Rukmini had to intervene. That is how large-hearted Krishna is, when somebody gives him something from heart. So that is another significance, where what he offered and what he got in return, it just got multiplied. So you can continue to give your poll while I'll continue to engage you on this. We'll give 5 to 10 minutes for everybody to come in and be able to record in your responses. And then Lord Krishna also gave Akshay Patra. Akshay means never diminishing, which never diminishes. He had given it to Draupadi when Pandavas, they started the Vanvas. So their food was taken care of, basically. Akshay Patra would never diminish. So that Patra, through that, you could keep eating and then it will never finish, right? And that is essentially what Draupadi used. The last grain was remaining. She gave it to Krishna when Durvasa and all his sages came along with him. And he became, when Krishna ate, all the sages, what do you call that, hunger was quenched as soon as Krishna took. So again, that is another significance of Akshaya Tritiya. Then another one important one is it's relevant to Bhagavad Gita as well. Ved Vyas, he started writing the epic Mahabharat, not writing, but reciting. Ganesha ji wrote it. So he started reciting it on this day. That's another significance of Akshaya Tritiya. I think there are a couple of other ones as well. Yeah, the holy Ganges, it descended upon the earth on this day. That is another significance. And I think there's another one which says that the annual Rath Yatra in Puri, Jagannath, it begins on this day. So there are 6 or 7 facts related to Akshaya Tritiya. We are able to appreciate it. So it's a religious festival that is celebrated, and it's important to know the significance. Helps us appreciate the significance of the day and the historical events that are associated with it as well. So like I said, it's a good day. I think on our fundraiser also for the university project, which is being matched. If you do that, they are going to reflect it in your fundraiser. So a lot of sevas available for tomorrow's Akshay Tritiya satsang that we get an opportunity to do with Swamiji tomorrow. So do check it out. And if you want to engage in seva, it's a good way to, engage in some earnings, spiritual wealth earnings tomorrow. Okay, so with that said, how much time do we have? I think we usually give about 10 minutes for this. We'll give a couple of more minutes for the questions to record in the responses. I see 50% of the participants so far. Let's wait a couple of more minutes. Typically, we give about 10 minutes, initial 10 minutes for everybody to come in, record their responses, and then get started. So any other announcements, Sandhya, we wanted to make? We could utilize this time and then start with our discussion topic for today.
Earth Day tomorrow.
Earth Day tomorrow, yes. So we'll be doing some cleanup activities tomorrow, and you're welcome to join us around 8:45 in the morning. There are going to be multiple teams. Swamiji is also going to be in one of the teams, and we are going to pick up stuff and do our contribution with regards to cleaning up stuff tomorrow. So we'll do that, and we also have that sustainability fair as well, right? Temple in the afternoon. So these 2 events are there, and then in the evening we have a satsang with Swamiji. So it's a packed day tomorrow, and it's going to be an exciting day for sure.
And then don't forget about
our continuous Sankirtan. I'm so excited about it.
Yes, we'll get an opportunity to do it in presence of Swamiji. So
Absolutely. Yeah, sorry, you were saying something.
Yeah, yes, and don't forget about the Sunday session. That is also 2 hours of blissful experience. Yeah, so Saturday, Sunday, in double and triple headers for you to.
And this Sunday again, satsang is special with Swamiji, so not to be missed by anyone.
Right, that is true. So I think I confused some of the people when I spoke about this session moving to Sunday, but not with immediate effect from May 6th onwards. Okay, so next week also it is on schedule on Friday, but then based on requests from a lot of people, and I think makes sense as well, we will do it Monday to Friday, for India time, and Sunday to Thursday, US time. That way we'll get into a rhythm starting May 6th. So don't get confused, please. Okay, next Friday also it's on schedule. It's going to happen from May 6th, and I'll let you know before the session. That way we are all on the same page. Again, Akshaya Tritiya, happy Akshaya Tritiya to all of you. I told you, I think 7 facts. One is it's a birthday of Lord Parshuram. Does anybody remember all 7? Okay, maybe one each. And then the second one is starting of Treta Yuga after Satyug. Third one was when Sudama gave the rice puffs and got a bounty full of wealth, right? Fourth one was Lord Krishna gave Akshay Patra to Draupadi. It's a never diminishing patra. See, their food problem was solved. How nice it was. And fifth one is the Ved Vyas, he started reciting Mahabharata today. Sixth one is the holy Ganges descended on earth. And the last one is that annual Rath Yatra, Jagannath, it begins on this day. So these are the 6 or 7 facts related to Akshaya Tritiya. That's why we celebrate it. Okay, so I think we have about 52%. I don't know, we have less people today. If you are still doing it, let me know, but we will get started with our session because we have a fantastic presentation coming up as well. And I wanted to go through some facts as well, as part of our discussion today. So I think we can probably end the poll and get started. Rahul?
Yes, I just ended the code and now sharing the
Let's
results.
share the results. Okay. So let's talk about it. The three filter test that we are talking about here. The first question is, the question says that which one of this is three filter test doesn't consist of. So you have to find what. So scriptural references, somebody said, split verdict, scientific journal references, citations, majority saying, corroboration by multiple friends, reiterated by our guru. So scriptural knowledge does not consist of was the question. So scriptural references, yes, we have to refer to that. Corroboration by multiple friends, won't look into that, right? Friends may not have the perfect knowledge. So let's look at it, the concept here. Triple filter, we spoke about this concept. So the bona fide knowledge, the triple filter test for that is something which is spoken about in our scriptures. You can have a bibliographical reference for that, stated by multiple saints, right? Multiple saints, they don't have a reason to say the same thing, So in sin scriptures, saints are saying that. And if you have a reason to believe your guru is God realized, he's saying the same, then it's a good enough reason for you to put faith in that it is a bona fide knowledge. So this is a triple filter fact. If we put faith in what Google says, our friend says, and what world is telling you, that's a bit of a shaky foundation, right? That might be person's opinion based on what they think how it should be. So that is not a good reason. So I think the scientific journal references, citations, they don't count too much on that. Corroboration by multiple friends also, I think both of these, they don't count, right, Rahul? These two?
Yes.
Scriptural references and reiterated by our guru, they do count. So second and third, if you are picked up, you are right. If you are picked up first and fourth, then it is not. Those actually count. The second question is, informal modes of acquiring spiritual knowledge can truly help us in our spiritual endeavor. 7 of you said yes, and majority of you said false. The ones who said false are right, because let's talk about it a little bit as well. Sources of knowledge are informal, formal. Now, if you rely on informal acquisition of knowledge, which is happening to us anyways, it just happens to us, right? Our belief system is, which is very important for our lives. If you look at it, for most part, it is just happening to us. We are not systematically acquiring it. And that knowledge which come through your friends, social media, peers, news channels, Google, and the biggest one, I have sorted it out. IKEA syndrome, I know it all. So these are informal ways because there's no basis for that. And when we do it formally, it could come through self-study, scriptural study, self-help books, and all that stuff, which is better than doing it informally, but still not perfect. And when you do it under the guidance of a guru, which is a Shrotriya Brahmanisht, then that's the right way of acquiring the knowledge. So the informal modes of acquiring spiritual knowledge are fraught with danger. You may even mess up your thought process, and you may even become Nastic. Why? Because you're relying on intellect to understand something which is divine. And when you will come across some of the apparent contradictions, which a guru can reconcile, you will say, no, all scriptures are waste, basically. It doesn't make sense. And you try to digest it through your intellect, it will not make sense. So it's usually not recommended. You can do that. I mean, if it's something you've understood from your guru, you want to go a little deeper and with the guidance from guru, but if you try to do it on your own, you'll be all over the place. A lot of people come, they say in Shiv Puran it is said this, Devi Puran it says that, Vishnu Puran it says that, Bhagavatam says this. Unless you understand it in an entirety, it is like that six blind men and elephant story. Whatever you touch, you will say, okay, this is the absolute truth and I don't want to know beyond that, or you won't even have exposure to that. So the answer is false. It's not true. The third one is soul's knowledge of each kshetra is dash and dash. So perfect and incomplete, perfect and complete, imperfect and complete, imperfect and incomplete. Okay. It's again a bit of a split verdict. Soul's knowledge of each kshetra is actually, it is, Rahul, imperfect and incomplete, right?
Yes, the fourth one.
It's the fourth one, which unfortunately we have a minority. People went with perfect and complete. It is not, because there's a reason for that. We are Anu, Sat, Anuchit, and Anu Anand. Okay, we are not Satchit, Vibhu Sat, Vibhu Chit, or Vibhu Anand. So our knowledge, even if you look at, forget about the perfect knowledge. See, perfect knowledge would be knowing God in entirety. So that can happen only at the time of God realization. Even in material subjects, nobody can claim to be an expert. That is how vast God's material energy is. Even to ace one subject, one lifetime is not enough. It's infinite. The knowledge is infinite. Even the material energy of God is infinite. 3 colors, primary colors, can make infinite combinations. 7 suras can make infinite music. Similarly, 3 gunas can have infinite combinations and manifestations. And similarly, every subject, it keeps on getting more nuanced and subtler as you keep on progressing, right? Journal science to physics, chemistry, math to not physics, chemistry, biology, chemistry, and physics, and then each branch, optics and thermodynamics, and you can keep on going subtler and subtler. You will never say that I have reached the end of it. So the field, so the question is soul. First of all, we are soul, we are Anu. We don't have perfect knowledge until we become God realized. And the field of activities around us, we don't have perfect knowledge for that as well. And perfect knowledge, if you look at it purely, technically, strictly speaking, it is the knowledge of God. And until somebody has a knowledge of God, they are not truly knowledgeable. Okay, if we go by the strict definition of that. So it's imperfect and incomplete. The fourth one is identify the missing links to acquire spiritual knowledge, approach a spiritual master. Which one is missing link here? Render service to him, test his spiritual knowledge, inquire from him submissively, and ask for material boons. Okay, somebody said, oh, ask for material boons. I'm sorry to disappoint you. That's not the right answer. Render service to him. Yes, 23 out of 24 said, which is fantastic. That means you're paying attention in the sessions. Test his spiritual knowledge? Of course not. Okay, there's a difference between going to test somebody or to seek things submissively. And knowledge flows top down only when you have humility and submissive spirit. Not that, okay, I'm going to ask them about Ram's cousin's daughter's son's name, okay, and going to test their knowledge. Okay, it's pointless. Inquire from him submissively, of course, and now that basically is corroborated by this particular shloka that we have, that for you to learn the truth by approaching a spiritual master, tadvidhi pranipaten pariprashnena sevaya updekshanti te jnanam jnanina tattvadarshina. Inquire from him with reverence and render service unto him. So the first answer is right. The third answer is right. The second and fourth, if you for some reason picked it up, that's not correct. Okay, if you picked it up for fun, then that's a different matter, but that's just not right. Material boons, of course not. Such an enlightened saint can impart knowledge because he has seen the truth. Any questions before we move on to our topic of our discussion today on the quiz? Anything that didn't make sense, or you're confused, or you thought it otherwise and answer came completely different from what you thought? Anybody has any question on that? Yes, Keshavji.
Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe.
Yeah, it's very interesting. Sorry, I joined late,
No worries.
but the third question I didn't get it. Soul's knowledge. What does it mean? Knowledge of the soul, or my knowledge about soul, and that knowledge.
Yeah, so
This question is tricky.
yeah, it's maybe play of words. Basically, if you refer, this is reference to this particular stuff that we had spoken about, Kshetra Kshetragya, basically. Understanding of the self, the supreme soul, the body, and distinction amongst this is true knowledge. So Lord Krishna is saying, when you understand that you, God, the super soul, and the field of activities all are distinct, when you have that absolute knowledge, that is true knowledge. Until that point, your knowledge is still not true. It is a strict definition. So by that definition, go until we have become God realized, and we are not situated in perfect knowledge.
Yeah, the other thing is like I had two questions. Number one related to this, and truly speaking, my little knowledge tells me Purushottam Krishna said, Dwami mein Purusha loke shar cha akshareja, shar and akshar. You know Kshetra and Kshetragya. The knower of knowledge of this Kshetra and Kshetragya is soul, and soul knows this very well. And the other issue is Mamai Ansho Jeev Loke. This shloka is very, very deep rooted. Here the point is Mamai Ansho Jeev Loke or Mamai Ansho Jeev Loka. So the point is Jeev is the Ansha from Purushottam Krishna, or this Loka is the Ansha of this Purushottam Krishna. Here this distinction is very, very crucial.
Yeah, so Mame Vansho Jiva Loka Jiva Bhuta Sanatana, right? That ones we are talking about.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
We are Ansh of God, but because we have we are shrouded with ignorance, regaining that perfect knowledge that we are supposed to have as part of his fragmental parts is all spirituality about. So until we reach that stage, we are not reached in that perfect, right? So we are his Ansh, and the perfect knowledge is our inheritance. However, we have come away from it because we are currently shrouded with ignorance, because we have come under Maya. We are Maya Dheen right now.
I understand that, but my thinking is Purushottam Krishna is telling in that shloka, Mamai Ansho Jeev Loke, and there are millions of lokas. So that are Ansh of him. Soul is integral part of Purushottam Krishna. It is not divided. So that soul, Purushottam Krishna, is one and same. So Ansh is like Shar and Akshar. So that's a very deep point. I don't know whom to ask and talk.
Yeah, we can discuss that in more detail in one of the sessions.
Yes.
It's going back to Advait concept.
Yes, right.
We are same as God and yet different. That scriptures say we have a Bheda Bhed Sambandh with God. We are same and yet different. And that Bheda Bhed is that's where we can get more deeper into that. But for the sake of time, Keshavji, let's move on. We'll pick up this.
Thanks.
It's a very interesting one.
Thanks.
Thanks for bringing it about. Yeah. Okay, so now let's move on. I wanted to talk about different kind of karmas, quick discussion, and then I wanted to give good 10-15 minutes for the presentation because I'm myself looking forward to that presentation. So yeah, I'll wrap it up in 5-6 minutes. So the first kind of karma that we are subjected to is Sanchit karma. It is sum of one's past karmas. All actions, good and bad, from one's past lives follow through the next life. It is like an ocean. Just think of it like ocean, the stockpile of all the karmas that we have had, which is called Sanchit karma. It's a big ocean. It's not that all the karmas that we have, we are given the fruit of that in one lifetime. No, it's a big ocean. Now within that ocean, God picks up a drop. Which drop he'll pick up, only he knows. Why he picks up, only he knows. When he'll pick up, only he knows. Okay. Which is called prarabdha. Portion of Sanchit karma that has been chosen for us to face in this present life, it is called prarabdha, which is called fate, destiny as well. Example, thief who's caught and is facing his punishment in the prison. Okay, now that might not be why this example came up. Yeah, basically it could be born out of prarabdha, we don't know, or it could be born out of karmaj also. So what is prarabdha and what is karmaj, we never come to know, right? Prarabdha is basically something that you have endowed with as part of this life. And typically these 6 things, they say God controls: Jan, Mrityu, Labh, Hani, Yash, Apyash. And that is why people go to astrologers and stuff like that. It's a perfect science, but one should not rely on it, because what are we going to gain out of it? If you come to know something bad is going to happen, you will become disappointed. If you know something good is going to happen, you will become complacent. So it's better to focus on our Purusharth and our Kriyaman, not on what your Prarabdha is. But Prarabdha is something that you have to deal with in your present life. Apararabdha is the remaining. You just minus Sanchit karma minus Prarabdha. That remains simple mathematical equation, right? You have an ocean minus your Prarabdha, that becomes your Apararabdha, basically. That has not been chosen for us in this particular life. but it is still in backlog. Like if you are a Scrum Master, you are doing an Agile, it's in backlog. It's not an active sprint, but it is still in backlog. It can get picked up whenever God chooses to make you human again. So that is called aprarabdha. It's like, yeah, it's like, okay, thief has stolen something from the house and running away. Police has not caught him yet, but police is after him. It will catch up with you. You can't get away from aprarabdha. Some lifetime it will catch up with you. Unless in one of the lifetimes you have perfected surrender and God has burnt it off. Otherwise, aprarabdha is pending thing that we have to deal with. No escape from it. Then we have bija. Bija is the desire to do bad things again and again. We have done something wrong and have desire to do that again. Like if a thief is in prison, when even in prison, they are plotting the next robbery that they're going to do. Why? Because of their tendencies. So they have not completed the term yet, and they're still thinking of plotting the next. So that is called bija, which is seed. And they are thinking of doing again when they get a chance and they are out. So these beads are our tendencies, which flare up. We don't know why, when, as soon as they get a conducive environment. So these are called bijas. And that is why we're talking about, other yoga and practices, Hatha yoga and stuff like that, where you forcibly deny yourself. It can have an impact, but it does not take care of your bija, because you can exert your willpower only so much. Unless you have tackled it at the root and cut the roots itself or burnt the bija seeds itself, it's not going to be sustainable. Then we have kuta. It's a proclivity, inclination of doing things even if we haven't experienced it in this birth. Example is given of a man who has eyes and hasn't seen a woman, and they understand there's a difference and they feel lust. Even though they haven't seen it, they feel it that way. Nobody has told them in this lifetime, but it comes from the experience in previous lifetimes. So there is a propensity to do sins, even though you might not have experienced in this life, but certain inclinations are formed. That is why I said every thought has an indelible imprint on our mind. Those tendencies, there's absolutely no getting away from that. And they stay with us. So we are automatically attracted to those kind of deeds in this birth without prior experience or knowledge in this lifetime itself. That is called kuta. So these are the things we have to deal with. However, when we get into devotion, part of bhakti, the bija starts getting addressed, kuta starts getting addressed. Even your apararabdha can be addressed, to a larger extent. And then if you perfect your devotion anyway, everything is taken care of. God says, I'm going to burn off your stockpile. But until we have to deal with this lifetime after lifetime whenever we come back as humans. Okay. 2 minutes. Any questions on this before we move on to another presentation? So these are the key things to understand why there is a greater incentive for us to invest spiritually, because when we are born as humans, we can do something with it. When we are not born as humans, we don't have a choice. For birds, animals, they don't have a choice. We are given a choice. So we can actually take care of it for our future lives, afterlives as well. Otherwise, every moment we are pouring back into our sanchit karmas, every moment, unless we are doing perfect karma yoga, we are pouring back into that ocean. And how vast that ocean would be, we can't even imagine. And in order to exhaust that emotion, how many lifetimes we can't even imagine. Okay, yes, Sandhya, you had a question?
Yeah, just clarification. So this bija, we have done something wrong in this birth or previous birth?
Previous, you
That
have
we can do again.
formed that, right? It's like certain sanskars you have formed. If through your free will, when you bring in certain impressions or things, you don't work on it because of your ignorance or whatever, then that starts becoming your bija, deep-rooted tendencies, so to say. Some people have those tendencies, right? God did not give it to them as a gift. They only made it for themselves. So it's important that every thought that we're bringing to our head, if we continue to contemplate upon it, it could become a bija for our future lives. We have to deal with it.
Yeah, thanks for clarification.
Right. So these are the things we have to deal with in every lifetime. And when we do devotion, it starts acting at the root level itself. And that is why it's very powerful practice. Other yogas, for as long as you're in a meditative state, it is doing its work. But when you're out of it, you're still under the sway of Maya. Like Sarangbi, it talks about, When you go underwater, bee cannot chase you. But when you're out of the water, bee is back in business. Similarly, whichever practice you're doing, unless you are supplementing it with devotion, it will not give you a far-reaching effect. You are still operating in Maya. And Maya will catch hold of you at the first opportunity because of all these tendencies that we have. Yes, Rahul?
Yeah. Do we want to take a question now or after?
Sure. We can take one question and then we can move on to them.
So Aparna ji has a question in the chat. So if some has bija, they will not be getting human life most probably, and hence our prarabdha doesn't apply to them.
No. These things will continue basically when you get human birth. As an animal, you cannot plot, right? So as an animal, you are scripted, right? When scripted means that there are goose and there are certain species of birds, they will turn in a particular direction in a particular season. We know, right? They start flocking and crossing the continents. And certain birds, when the winters come, they start flying southwards. They will not have a liberty to say that because of their genetic coding. They will not say, no, this time instead of south, just for fun, let me, fly on the north direction. They will not. That is how they have been coded. What do you call an orange tree? Just because it's in a good mood, fun mood, will not give you lemon one day. They are scripted a certain way. However, as humans, we have a choice, and these bijas and all we'll have to deal with whenever we become human. So the mind, there's no getting rid of our mind. Whatever mind is there, whenever we come back as humans, the same mind is given to us by God. So we have to take care of this faculty very carefully because subtle body travels with us. So if you are super angry, super frustrated, super bitter, those tendencies you have in this life, we can't imagine like computer shutdown happens, the slate is wiped clean and next life you will become completely different. No, you will be born with these tendencies only. So bijas is a baggage we have to deal with. And that is why it's important for us to, invest in ourselves and spiritually so that we are not creating more homework for ourselves in coming lives. Because it's like digging a pit for yourself, which only you have to climb over later. I hope I answered your question. And I hope I did not freak you out, but this is the reality. Okay. Any more questions? Are we good?
I think, yeah, we can proceed with the presentation.
We can take more. And over to you, Rajendra ji. We're looking forward to your presentation today. Rajendra ji is going to pick up a topic. Can you announce that? And after hearing this, your life will never be the same again. Over to you, Rajendra ji. Let's proceed then, and then we can take questions afterwards.
Radhe Radhe, Nitin ji, everyone. Let me share my screen first.
Sure. How to cultivate emotional stability. Amazing.
Yes, you yourself has said the topic. So my presentation topic is how to cultivate emotional stability. The purpose why I have chosen this topic is, as it is shown in Swamiji's quote, that mastery of emotions is an essential prerequisite for progress on the journey to enlightenment. So we all are in the journey towards spiritual journey. So it is necessary for everyone to cultivate emotional stability. So this is the outline of my presentation. First, I will talk about the power of emotional stability, then how value system affects emotions, and how can we deal unexpected life events, and how can we achieve freedom from emotional clutters, and finally I will conclude with Swamiji's quotes. First, power of emotional stability. This I have taken from the reference from Rotary Club of Silicon Valley, which Swamiji has given lecture currently. There was two scenarios. The first scenario is like Swamiji was having a satsang family who is well established, and they had a very promising child who is very skillful and very good in they are very powerful family who has very good connections, and they are very luxurious. But once he grew up, he joined a college, and within 7 months he committed suicide due to little stress in college. This is one of the scenario. Then the next scenario is the story of Abraham Lincoln. He, at the age of 23, he failed in his business. Then again at the age of 24, he went to bankrupt because of his own business failure. Then at the age of 27, he had a nervous breakdown. At the age of 33, two of his children died in an accident. And at the age of 34, 36, and 45 for different posts, he stand up for the elections, but he continuously lost. And at the age of 47, he stood for vice president and lost again. Yet, at the age of 52, he became the 16th president of India. So, from these two scenarios, if you clearly see that from the scenario one, the person was having all kind of material luxuries and even his health is good and everything is going well in his life. And in the case of scenario two, if you see, everything was going bad in his life, but at the end, he has become the president of America. So, in order to be emotionally stable, we do not require any physical comfort. This is the most important realization which we need to take away from these two scenarios. So, the first scenario, the child is not having resilience to face the difficulties in the world. So, in order to develop resilience, we can go through this Samarpan e-journal, which is already available in the JKO website. Then coming to the value system, how our value system affects our emotions. So first, the question comes like, does bad situation breaks relationships? Like if something bad happens to us, whether it will break the relationship or not. So I would like to share from my own perspective in this presentation. So from my situation, during COVID time, I was staying in my home and I bought a new bike, and one of my cousin took my bike to hill station and he has broken my mirror. So this was my situation. So my response and consequence was I got completely angry with my cousin and our relationship got strained. Even today, we don't even look at our own face because of this incident, though we were very close friends before. So then I would like to share a story from Swamiji's YouTube channel, where there is a story of a young husband and wife buying a new luxurious car. They were newly married and they have saved a lot of money to buy a new car. But one of the day, the wife was using the car and she was going for shopping, but unexpectedly the other car passenger has hit the car and the car was completely damaged. But at that situation, the husband did not got angry on his wife. Instead, he told this was the best day of his life because though such a great accident has happened, his wife was still alive and nothing bad has happened to her. So from this, we can see that two kinds of responses for similar situation. So from my value system, if you see that, if you notice well, my comfort and my luxury, my bike is my priority compared to my own cousin. I won't mind relationship with my cousin more than my own bike. And if you see the husband's value system, his relationship with his wife is more important than his own passion for cars. So from these two situations, so if we change our value system, we can even control our anger. So the solution is when we value people more than material luxuries, then we will be able to respond, then to react. Generally, when anger comes, if you see, it is also comes in research that our right brain acts due to reaction. But when we pause and respond, our left brain will act, through which we can think little bit before we react upon someone and not lose any kind of relationship. And the third aspect is unexpected life events. So is it possible to be happy during unexpected miserable situations? So we will try to understand this. So this story is in Purpose of Life Challenge of episode 2. the story of a retired chief engineer. He recently got, when he was around 70 years age, he lost his wife, who he loved very much. They have done love marriage, but he was not able to bear the pain of his separation from his wife. Then he approached Swamiji for a solution, what to do to come out of this miserable situation. So Swamiji responded that by outliving your wife, you have saved her from immense sorrow, because his wife loved him more than he could. So if, for example, if this man has passed away before that girl, but before that woman, then that woman cannot be able to tolerate the pain which he can go through. So it is better that anyhow, whoever has born, they have to go and die. So it's better that he could bear the pain of separation than her. So this is the response given by Swamiji, and how it has related to my own experience is that just before 6 months, my grandmother passed away, and I was totally miserable because I loved her very much. And I realized that if for example, if I have passed away before my grandmother, then definitely my grandmother will definitely would not be able to tolerate the pain of his grandson, because I know that my grandmother loves me more than I love her. So it's better that I would bear that pain of separation than her. So, if we understand the purpose before the unexpected life events that happening before us, we can be able to stay positive in that situation. This is called positive reframing. Swamiji has given about this in SM exclusive live session, where he has given more detail about this positive reframing. And Swamiji says that both good and bad situations come to us for a divine purpose. And how to free ourselves from emotional clutters. The fear, tension, stress, anxiety are predominant in the world, and I have a lot of it. So there was a story of Narad and Angira. Actually, they were going towards a shop, and there was a ration shop, and a goat was coming and eating the ration food which was available in the shop, and it is emptying everything. And the person who was the shopkeeper was beating the goat like anything. By seeing this situation, Naradji was laughing at that goat. But by seeing this, Angira got shocked that how being a saint, he is, instead of becoming compassionate, he is laughing at this situation. Then he told that this goat is the father of the shopkeeper currently, and he, in his past life, he was so much attached to his own shop that even after becoming a goat, he is coming back again to the same shop. So that is the power of attachment we have. This is the story available in Swami Mukundananda Facebook channel. So this is a quote from Radha Govind Geet. The meaning of that verse is, one day you have to leave the world. Nobody can take anything with them. So why don't you leave the attachment right now? It is easy for me to read this verse, but it is very difficult to practice, because there were infinite subtle attachments which is involved inside us. One of them is, which is more for me, is fear of insecurity for the future. It occurs because due to the attachment to the comforts of the present. What happens if the present comfort goes away? That is what brings us the fear of insecurity for the future. So, by how to overcome this? By learning to tolerate both good and bad situations without getting disturbed. Just like as summer comes and winter comes, we need to tolerate both. But it is easy that to develop tolerance, we need to develop more inner strength. So, how to develop that inner strength? We need to become brave. So, to become brave, we need to understand that not everything in life can be the way we want it. Bravery means willingness to accept situations that are against our liking, willingness to accept uncertainty, willingness to accept pain. This is called the true definition of bravery, which Swamiji himself has stated in one of this video. So when we expand our own heart, we will become brave. We need to learn, accept life as it is, and get rid of the subtle attachments of bodily comfort and security. We practically do this? How can we take initial steps to do something which is against our liking and which has lot of uncertainty, and how can we accept pain? So Swamiji himself has created a situation like that he needs money for fundraising, and when we become Swamiji's angel by committing to 3 lakhs or even open a fundraising page for, as today is Akshay Tritiya in India. So if we open up our heart and take up something which is beyond our comfort zone, we will slowly become brave and slowly get rid of these emotional clutters. I will conclude this presentation with Swamiji's quote: set a high standard for the level of surrender and self-mastery that you wish to attain. Do not compromise by setting a lower goal. Then decide firmly that you will attain that high level of spirituality. This decision will fill you with enthusiasm and strength. Swami Mukundananda. Thank you. Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe, thank you. Wonderful, Rajendra ji. Very thought-provoking and very well-researched presentation. And I love the fact that you threw in the bibliographical references and your own personal examples, and your bravery, the fortitude to show your vulnerable side, by examples that where you struggle, and drawing in those contrast, where you struggled and how the knowledge should ideally have been applied in that particular situation. And we can easily make out you're doing doctorate, right, with the kind of dissertation you have done on this topic with some references, and very thoroughly done. I loved every bit of it. And it's like you covered a lot of stuff, to be honest, and in a very systematic manner. And Gagar mein Sagar, you did that in 15 minutes. Okay, I must say that. So I must applaud you for your awesome presentation, and very well researched, and very thought provoking, where you are given some real life examples where we all fall prey to, these things, and how we can apply knowledge and bring it to our rescue when the moment presents itself. Loved it. And thank you so much, Rajendra ji. It has been a privilege to hear that from you. Yes, quite a few participants. I'm sure they have a lot of stuff to share with you. So go ahead. I think I can see a few hands here.
Yeah, Radhe Radhe, Sandhya ji.
Yeah, Radhe Radhe. Thank you so much, Rajendra Prasad ji. I really loved the way you expressed your humility also throughout the presentation. And practical things, right, which we all experience in our lives. You brought them in front through amazing, amazing teachings of Swamiji and Maharajji. It was very nice. So thank you so much. Look forward to many more presentations from you actually now onwards.
Well, you can pick up a topic of your choice. And the beauty of that is you do a very thorough job at it. You went to SM channel, the video references, then Radha Govind Geet, and then your own situation, how you're able to map it to the teachings. That is the best part of it. Thoroughly enjoyed it. Very nicely done. Yes, Rahul.
Radhe Radhe, Rajen ji. Such a wonderful presentation. We had a lot of comments also flowing in the chat. And it was like as if you were speaking on behalf of all of us, because all the things which you mentioned, we could correlate in some manner with our life, with our personal experiences. So amazing presentation. And you did a good work in quoting all those references. So that means you have studied the material very nicely. So nice job. Thank you. Radhe Radhe.
Yeah, I think and it has come out very clearly in your presentation that you are very, determined to bridge the gap between being a Jigyasu to being a Pipasu. And that is usually the biggest graph, knowing and doing. So now you are able to not only, assimilate what Swamiji is telling us, but also taking that next leap. Okay, in this situation, this is where I erred, and this is what I should have done or I could have done, and bringing it out so beautifully through the topic, mapping it to the topic of discussion that presentation rather. It was really very, really well done. In fact, that's why I said you should pick up topics, I think, and bring it. I think these nuggets, capsules are going to go a long way to help a lot of participants here as well, right? Because more often than not, we limit it to just hearing it. We feel good. It's like it seems good to our ears, but we've got to take that next step of, not just knowing the recipe of rasgulla, but cooking it and tasting it as well. So great job. Okay, anybody else who wanted to say anything? Quite a few things on the chat. I can see everybody saying wonderful presentation. Thank you so much. Shilpa ji saying, Surinder ji saying great references, experiences, filled presentation. Sandhya saying great presentation, superb job. Annapurna ji saying, Shefali saying awesome presentation. Payal ji saying very thought provoking. Ambika ji saying great presentation. So a lot of kudos flowing in. Outstanding job, Rajendra ji.
In fact, some of the participants are now thinking about when will the video of this session be available. Yeah, so we can watch it again.
Yeah, you can watch it again, and it was a power packed 15 minutes capsule that you gave us. A lot of things with very practical advices to go with. Yes, Sandhya, you wanted to add something? Any other question anybody has today? Rajendra ji the floor is open, so Rajendra ji is happy to answer questions for you as well. Okay, so go ahead, please. Rarely do we get this opportunity. We have 8 more minutes, so please do take this opportunity.
Yeah, I just had a request if Rajendra Prasad ji could share the presentation on the community portal. Many more people can get benefited from it.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, anybody else has any questions on what we spoke about today? Bija, Kuta, Prarabdh, or any of the questions, or what Rajendra ji spoke about? Feel free to. We have time, so let's utilize it. 480 seconds are a lot of time.
One more question on Bija.
Otherwise, Shefali had promised that she's going to sing. Okay, so I'll have to put her on the spot. Please ask questions. Yeah, Sandhya, you're saying something?
Bija. So actually, I was just wondering. So Bija, only bad things that we have done in the past,
Good
and we
also.
tend to.
You may have good bijas also.
Yeah, that's what I wanted.
See, I preempted your question and answered it. Bija means bija. So you can create good bijas. Why not?
Yeah, that's what I wanted to ask. Awesome. Thank you.
Yes, any other questions from anyone? So by the way, I want to take up a topic. See, we have spoken about looking good, and we'll talk about lasting long also. Okay, how do you increase the odds of your longevity? What is the secret sauce for that? And I'm sure a lot of people would love to know about it. So we will pick up this topic in one of the sessions next week. Okay, it's a very important topic, and if you'll think deeply about it, you'll understand where it goes, how it goes, and how it unfolds, and it does truly work. So we'll talk about that, right? So there are things that we can do. There are things, power of thoughts and stuff like that, which can help us not only chisel the contours of our appearance, but also increase our longevity as well. So stay tuned for that. I think it's going to be a fascinating, interesting discussion around that topic. Any other questions anybody has? Or wants to say Radhe Radhe if you're new to the sessions? That is okay as well. Anybody who's new to the sessions, who has not had an opportunity to talk and always thought, when are we going to get time? So today is the time. We have 6 minutes, and we would love to hear from you. When did you start and how long you've been joining the sessions? Or ask Rajendra ji, how did he come up with such an amazing presentation? So practically applicable for each one of us. We do have time for that.
Nitin ji, probably you could also start introducing some people.
Yes, that is one of the questions coming up.
Or-
I'll start that series because people are shy to come forward. If Shilpa ji has something, and then I'll introduce at least a couple of people today. Okay. whomever I choose today. Yes, Shilpa ji, please go ahead.
Radhe Radhe. I've been listening to these sessions since August of the last year. I'm still a bit camera shy,
Okay.
but I was introduced to these sessions from two of your regulars, and I met them at the Austin Tom last year.
Okay.
Maybe is one of them, and Swani is another one of them. I love these sessions. I've even shared these with my mom. And I'm not sure about her presentation, but I know Purvi had shared one of the Holi songs last fall, and she also did a presentation for the Holi. Kya Hori hai ya Holi hai.
Right.
So I would like to take one of Swamiji's songs, and I would like to sing, and how Purvi had shared the meaning. I was going to email it to you, but if I can take one of the songs,
do.
sing it, and share the meaning, that would be great. I'm not sure of the time, but if
Please
I could
do.
do that, that would be great.
I'm sure a lot of people would love it. So just put it in the feedback tracker.
Okay.
When you want to do that, we can work out a time for that. And I think we are going to have an awesome time if you do that. And I'm glad you spoke up today. And I'm sure you'll conquer your camera shyness as well. It's a pretty cozy group, okay, I'll tell you. But yes, let's talk more about it, and we'd love to hear that from you.
I loved all the holy stuff, especially I learned Gaur Roop and all of the bhajans that I've been listening to. I
Perfect.
learned that was my favorite series, the color and why we play holy.
Sure.
So yeah, all of these sessions have been awesome.
It's
Thank you
awesome
so
to
much. Thank you,
hear
everyone.
from you. Awesome to hear from you. Please do write in feedback tracker, and we'll work out a time next week for that.
Oh, awesome. Great. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. We can see Abhishek today. Radhe Radhe Abhishek, good to see you after a while.
Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe. Mahi also, good to see you, Mahi. Thank you for turning on your video, all of you. And good to see you guys. I mean, you were able to join. That is pretty fascinating after a while. And so next time, next week, we will do this for Shilpa ji. And if you have something to present, do write to us. We have our devotional segment every day after 10. So if you want to sing something, present something, let me know. Like Rajendra ji gave a presentation. If you're also interested to share some of your key learnings, we'd love to hear from you. And if you want to recite something, even better, we'll have a devotional segment every day. So great. And thank you, Shilpa ji, for sharing that and keep spreading the message. I think most of the people, participants here who are there, they've come through word of mouth referrals, which actually works, right? Testimonial evidence works better than anything else. So good to hear that. Anybody else? We have 2 more minutes. I wanted to say Radhe Radhe or otherwise, because we have a hard stop in another 2 minutes. So anything anybody wanted to ask, talk about? Yes, Surendra ji.
I am remembering 2 lines only.
Sure.
It may not be complete. तुम मेरे थे मेरे हो मेरे रहोगे बहकुनाब बहकाने से तुम मेरे थे मेरे हो मेरे रहोगे बहकुनाब बहकाने से. Sandhya ji can complete it. Radhe Radhe.
Go ahead, Sandhya. You've been specifically okay. I had to introduce somebody, right? Okay, we have run out of time. We'll do it from Monday now. All right. So you want to complete that?
I
1 minute?
can maybe.
Sure,
I love this button.
Go ahead.
तुम मेरे थे मेरे हो मेरे रहोगे बहकुनाब बहकाने से जब समझ प्रेम में डूब गई तब क्या होगा सब जाने. आगे भी टाइम हो गया ना आई गेस.
Yeah. I think we're pretty much on clock now. So thank you everybody for your fantastic participation like always. And thank you Rajendra ji for an amazing presentation. Radhe Radhe from my side. Over to you, Ajay and Sunil bhai, if you're already there. And I look forward to seeing you next week. Stay blessed and stay safe. Radhe Radhe. Good day. Good evening.
Thank you, Nitin Bhai. What a wonderful class and what a wonderful closure as well. Really, really amazing. Welcome all of you to the next one. We are now going to start the book club on science of mind management. So don't go anywhere, stay along. There's going to be an amazing discussion on how our thoughts